Hey there, welcome back to True North Reviews. My name is Ryan, and today we're doing a review of the third studio album from the Canadian punk rock group PUP. They're also known as Pathetic Use of Potential. Their new record is entitled Morbid Stuff. So for a bit of a background, just to let you know what I've heard from this group before this review, they are a bit of a smaller based band from Canada, from Toronto specifically. I listened to their 2016 record, The Dream Is Over, and basically that title came from the fact that Stefan, the lead vocalist for this group, was told by his doctor that the dream was over. He shredded his vocal cords, he wasn't going to be able to sing ever again, but just like any other punk band, you would expect them to defy the conventional, doing something that they were told that they couldn't do. I feel like much of this 2016 record was speaking towards that, rising above other people telling you that you can't do something, but they prove that they can. And now moving on to the 2019 record, I feel like we get a lyrical shift to Morbid Stuff, as the record is called that. So anything to do with death or anything that is really just out there for a lot of people and just grotesque kind of imagery. The other interesting note I want to point out before going through a track-by-track breakdown, the production was handled by Dave Schiffman, who has worked with the Strombellas and their two big songs, Spirits and We Don't Know. I just found a weird connection between these two bands when they couldn't be any more different in their sounds. Strombellas going for more of a pop-leaning influence, and then we get PUP that are straight-on punk rock. So it just really shows off the two sides of what Dave Schiffman can do. He's pretty versatile in what he can do on this record here, but that doesn't mean that this record is all like full-on punk rock either. You can tell that there are some vocal harmonies and some melodies in there that would remind you quite a bit of like Weezer's White Album. So not all is lost with the pop sensibility on this record. So I feel like if you aren't like a true punk fan at heart, there are still some interesting and worthwhile things to check out here. Kicking off this record, we get the title track, Morbid Stuff, and basically this track just dives right into what is going on in Stefan's mind. So basically boredom is the catalyst for all of these negative thoughts in Stefan's mind. He is found himself thinking about his past lovers or people that he slept with, thinking that like, I wonder if any of them are dead. How natural, right? Anyways, I love the commanding drum performance on this opening track. The snare hits are on the on beats in the chorus. I feel like it just drives this track forward with that kind of propelling energy. We get some layered guitar licks in there too, quite bright and shiny. And lyrically, the protagonist is knowing that he's becoming this loser. However, I would say the most fascinating part of this intro track is the outro and how it's kind of hinting towards an obsessive relationship that is unhealthy, and Stefan is finding himself downridden with depression. And this just smoothly transitions into the next track, which is called Free at Last. Moving on to another song on here, Scorpion Hill, I feel like the storytelling is at its peak of creativity. I really didn't think I would be empathizing with a character who has such evil thoughts. Like, he just wants to burn the world down and wants to give everyone a chance to do it too. But on the song Scorpion Hill, I feel like you just see the protagonist unravel from a life that was once put together, and he's still trying his best to be a good person. But a lot of these socially influenced kind of things that happen, like him losing his job, his girlfriend leaving him, it's like it's leaving him in the spot where he just doesn't know how to continue. The other interesting lyrical thread that kind of comes out on this song too is the drinking. The alcohol definitely is a lyrical theme that comes up a lot on here. Sonically, the cut is interesting too. It's kind of got this Weezer-like guitar solo, and that's the same for the track Sibling Rivalry. Yeah, so just don't let Scorpion Hill confuse you with like this slow intro. It easily has one of the most punk-inspired sounds on the project. It just takes a while to get there, about a minute. It's also the longest song on the project, clocking in just over 5. But yeah, just as a summary for that track, I feel like the chugging guitars in the chorus are quite infectious, and the halftime and double time drum playing very dynamic, and it doesn't really skip a beat at all. Now the single Free at Last, I really dig this one. It had a bit of an interesting rollout for it. Essentially, the band released the song's lyrics and the guitar chords and left it up to their fans to make their own version of the song before even hearing the original by this band. And PUP weren't really anticipating many versions of the song to be sent into them. They were really only expecting a few, but then they got 253. And believe it or not, they listened to all of them, and after listening to that many, they kind of forgot how their own song kind of sounded. But yeah, it's just a neat way to engage the fans. I feel like as a fan myself, I would appreciate being in the songwriting process, even though they already had the song written. It's just fun. For the sound of the PUP version of the song Free at Last, you can expect like the best drum performance of the year so far on here. The rhythm and the melody are pretty much one and the same on this track. I feel like they both equally support each other. The guitars linger in the left channel before exploding on this fun solo with the drums just totally rocking out. We get some fascinating vocal layers on top of the guitar solo, and then we get the 16th notes furiously being played on the toms of the drums. This track also has great social commentary on depression, basically highlighting how some people think that they have depression and how they kind of steal the limelight from the people that are truly suffering from it and deserve the attention. The singer has basically moved on from something that he knew had to end and he has wanted to end for a long time, but now that this relationship has come to an end, he's kind of just stuck in this purgatory place where he just doesn't really know where to go next. Last but not least, on this track Free at Last, we get that interesting lyrical echo I was talking about earlier with drinking. Stefan has found himself drowning out his sorrows with alcohol, something that he also brings up on the track Bloody Mary, Kate, and Ashley, which is definitely a reference to Bloody Mary. Not only that, but also the Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen twins. Another track on here, See You at Your Funeral, is another highlight. We get a perfect transition from the lyrical focus on the previous track. The protagonist has basically found himself trying out new things after a breakup. He's going vegan, he's meditating, but then he awkwardly runs into his ex-girlfriend at the grocery store, and she sees that he's making all these changes, and he thinks that they're all for the better, even though he might not truly believe it deep down. He just doesn't really want to see that ex-girlfriend until she's dead. And that's not even the most morbid part of the song, as Stefan suggests that the entire world could just die, and he hopes that all the highlights will be televised in hell. Believe me, there are some quite funny, memorable one-liners on this project, and I think that's one of them. Sonically, on See You at Your Funeral, the chorus is easy to sing along to, a lot of anthemic qualities, and I think that's where the Dave Schiffman influence comes in. The drums and bass also play with crisp and tight-knit chemistry. You can tell that PUP have been together for quite a long time. Overall, the song is just raw, it's punchy, right in your face, very aggressive. Just another fun punk rock song that reminds me a bit of the pop sensibility that was on the Parquet Courts record from last year. And then there's another full-blown punk performance on here on the track Full Blown Meltdown. Man, the distorted bass, the distorted guitar is just so overpowering on the mix. You would think it would be a mess of a track just based on how muddy the sounds are, but it's a great song. It's so grimy, it's rough, it's energetic. It's the closest thing on this project that you'll get to hardcore punk, even though a lot of these vocals are of that influence. And man, if this doesn't piss off Stefan's doctor, I don't know what would at this point. Another interesting part of the song is that the outro is basically calling out everyone's inner angsty teen. Not that I'm a teenager anymore, even though I definitely look like one. And man, the self-awareness on the lyrics of this song, quite appealing, quite admirable. It's basically a nice comeback to the past lover on the track Kids, where Stefan is saying that, well, he shouldn't be taken so seriously because a lot of his lyrics are just stolen from the bathroom walls. And these bathroom walls are basically the places that he's traveled to in these rundown venues that he's played across America over the past couple years. So yeah, Full Blown Meltdown is going to be one of my favorite songs of the year, I can already tell. I already alluded to the song Kids, but I'll talk about it a bit more now in detail. The anthemic quality on the chorus here just Ugh, amazing. It energizes me like the American Idiot era of Green Day, at least with the bass line and tom heavy drumming. Just got this quick punk feel at the heart of the track. The guitars have a playful call and response with the vocals. We have a few more tracks to talk about here. The next one I'll talk about is Closure. This one I would say is my least favorite. The melody isn't as catchy here. It still plays well into the theme of the project, talking about morbid stuff, but I just feel like the drums that shift back and forth between the halftime and double time aren't really paired as well with the guitars. I feel like the melody is a bit lacking here, and yeah, just compared to Scorpion Hill, it's a bit of an underwhelming song. Bare Hands is a song on here that has quite a bit of pop sensibility in the vocal harmonies. Very fresh, and the production is quite crisp. The drums drive home this catchy melody that the track just showcases this diverse range of cymbal crashes and tom fills. And then lyrically, the track is dealing with the manipulative kind of relationship that has come up time and time again on this project. Stefan is basically saying how he's had his emotions played with by his past lover. And this is happening one last time before we go into the closing track, which is called City. And man, City is a great song on here. It has the same kind of muddy distortion that we got on Full Blown Meltdown. The lyrics start out as cliched as you could possibly get, but by about the second verse, I think that's when the switch turns on to be talking about morbid stuff. And for PUP, I think this record is amazing. I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. I love the punk rock kind of sound on here. I feel like the production is stepped up a level. It's a lot cleaner, a lot crisper, a lot tighter. I gotta give a massive shout out to Dave Schiffman on the production here. Definitely showcases some of his greatest work to date. Tell me what you thought of this project. Sound off down below in the comments. Even if you don't really like punk music that much, tell me why. Leave a like if you like today's video. Subscribe if you're new in town. Tell me what I should review next. Thanks for watching, and as always, have a rockin' day.